Yo, let's get with these predictions. Speaking of it, yo, let's start predicting the most stupendous WrestleMania, 2-night WrestleMania of all time. The most stupendous one. I'm excited. I think this time of the year is the best time of the year for me. It's my birthday month. The weather's warming up. The WrestleMania comes up. Then the NBA playoffs comes. Then it's the summer. I like this time of the year. I get excited for WrestleMania. That's all I've been thinking about at work. Niggas could. I'm excited the more I think about it. So let's start with this: Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. People like to criticize WWE and say that WWE doesn't take, slow build up stories and they don't do long-term booking, but they've actually did long-term booking really well here. These guys have kind of had on and off, beef with each other, Bianca and Becky, since last SummerSlam, because Becky came back and surprised her after and rock bottomed her, manhandle slammed her, and beat her in like under a minute. So this was all Bianca had to go in the back of the line, build her way back up, and earned her way in the Elimination Chamber to face Becky. So they told a long-term story here. Who do you got winning, Becky or Bianca Belair?
Man. Wow. I'm gonna go with Becky on this one. I think she's just. I don't know if they're just gonna throw it right back on Bianca, because we've already seen a babyface Bianca run. You know what I mean? Like, can she get higher than when she was before that? I don't know about that. As a babyface, I don't know about that. Now, what we need to see is her flip the switch, and I think they're gonna hold off until she does that, until she flips the switch and comes up with a different side to her.
Well, I respectfully disagree with you. I could understand your desire to see her a heel. I think we will get there, and I know we're not there yet, but I think she will to the occasion and take it seriously. She really seems to take the craft very seriously and has great showmanship and charisma. But I think, one, I do think Bianca Belair is going to win this match. I think the long-term story they've been telling was about her, getting screwed over, getting beat by surprise, and Becky cheating to win in the rematch, and her having to go in the back of the line and work her way back up. I think they did that for a reason, to tell that traditional hero story of climbing back up. And Becky's had a hot run, and she's had it for a while. I think it doesn't harm Becky in any type of way, shape, or form if she loses this to Bianca. And I think this is just going to – I just think this is going to be them solidifying Bianca as a star, because, she main event to WrestleMania last year with Sasha and won that. And now she's going to go back-to-back WrestleManias and beat an elite superstar. So I think – this story was designed for her to come back and win. That's the payoff. You need to pay it off in some type of logical way that satisfies the business.
Nah, yeah, I can see your way. I just, you know what I mean. It's the title and stay the way she is. And then again, And that's the only way I'm coming from it. But I don't have any problem with her doing that, because I didn't have a problem with it the first time.
I feel that. No, I feel that. I think she does have another gear and more to show us as a good guy. And I think she has plenty of time to turn, or maybe even turn by SummerSlam. But I think she's really been holding it down as one of the newer crop of good guys in the women's division that you could really say got over, that the audience is connected to, Who else has came as a good guy and done that? Not Liv Morgan,
Nope.
Not Rhea Ripley quite yet, but I think she's coming. Not Nikki Ash. I like Nikki ASH. So those. Bianca is rising, and she's on such a crazy trajectory. I've never seen a woman rise this fast and be a star almost right away like this. I haven't.
She's definitely the most elite baby face we have at that in that division by far.
And like you said, you kind of mentioned this is how you felt for Lashley. She showed it in the pandemic and in the audience era. So the audience is into her. Stephanie McMahon endorses her. She be on all these media appearances with Stephen A. Smith. Like she's been doing a lot.
No, she the happy-go-lucky, do everything right. You know what I mean? Can you not see her do anything else? I can't see it. She's too adorable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely adorable, but yeah, I feel you on that. But nah, I see your point. Well taken. There's some fairness to that. We'll see what happens. But you got Becky, I got Bianca. Let's move into another match, a celebrity crossover match. That's part of WrestleMania tradition. Logan Paul, the influencer, the boxer, the superstar, teaming with the A-lister, The Miz, versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Who do you have here, man? I know it might not be your favorite crop of
Team
people,
Miz.
but who do you got here? Team Miz. So you got Miz and Logan Paul like winning dirty, winning clean.
Yeah, you don't bring Logan Paul here to lose. You gotta get in.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Because he's somebody who can come back. Think about it.
Oh yeah, the door's always open for that.
He's somebody who can come back. He's young enough.
In fact, I could see them bringing Logan and Jake Paul for some type of tag team match. The brothers. I could see it.
I can see those dudes realistically down the road.
Yeah.
Their boxing stuff. Yeah. I can see them.
They're good showmen.
They're doing it now. Everything they do is gimmick-like. Everything they do is, to cause attention. Everything they do is to get the numbers up, to get the trending up. For it. They're tailor-made for it.
Yeah. And all the appearances he's been doing with The Miz so far, he doesn't look too out of place. I mean, yeah, you could tell like by his footwork. What was that?
He's already tall.
Yeah, he's not a small guy. He could talk. He's comfortable on the microphone. And when he was beating down Ray with Miz, it looked believable. It didn't look bad. Like it looked good. You could tell he's at least taking it serious in training. But I honestly think Dominic and Ray's gonna win this. But let me ask you this: if you're right and Logan Paul and Miz win this, do you think Dominic and Rey Mysterio could afford a breakup storyline? Or do you think they would realistically go that way?
No, because I'm not confident.
Yeah. I agree. That's why I asked. I think they need each other right now. Because he needs it.
I'm telling you right now, I don't know about this Dominic guy. You know what I mean? A lot of people.
Give the kid some credit, bro. He's like 22. He's been on the biggest spotlight in the world, in the sports entertainment world on Monday Night Raw, and he hasn't boxed. I mean, let's get. I know that's not saying much, but a lot of kids his age might be boxing. He does a lot of high flying moves. That's not easy to wrestle the way he does. He's not that bad in the ring. That's all I'm saying for his age and for how. But he's still green. He's very green.
What do you think your ceiling is? Ricochet.
He's greener than my shirt. What do I think his ceiling is as of right now?
Ricochet Part 2.
Huh?
Because that's the Ricochet Part 2. That's the furthest I've seen him. Somebody like Ricochet.
Right. Yeah, so like a real reliable high flying mid carder right now. That's all I see.
Who can only be a baby face.
Who could get put in Money in the Banks if you really need it to jump and go through the ladder.
He can only be a sympathy figure.
You can make a lot of money in this business, man, being a sympathy figure, bro.
He can only be the underdog who,
Why you always want to rob people of the roles that God blessed them with, man? Why? Why?
I'm not the dude at all, man.
Nah, I'm not big on him, but I'll say this. So for his age and how green
he has no muscles on him.
Nah. I don't like how I'm not trying to body shame him, but I don't really. His body's not wrestler-esque. I'll say that. His body's not wrestler-esque. He's a little lanky. He's long and tall and I'm not gonna lie. He's kind of ugly. I'm not calling him ugly like I'm trying to put him down for anybody that might try to hear this and say something. I mean, like, he doesn't have the traditional, good looks to put on a billboard. Like, maybe he needs to use Rey Mysterio's mask. Honestly, that might help his character. Make a storyline where he inherits it. But he, like, you could put a little twist on it. Maybe he has a mask and a cape. Maybe he has a mask and something else with it. I don't know. You could put a little twist. Yeah, something.
You know what?
Maybe it's more like a helmet. I don't know.
Because I can't see.
Just like you ask about Cena turning heel for what?
This is different.
No, it's not. The level of love they have for Ray is arguably on a John Cena level. The love, the pure love that they have for him. I swear. Yo, you're not a student of the wrestling game if you don't see how women, kids, men, everybody loves Rey Mysterio. Everybody. The man has his own cartoon on Cartoon Network.
It's a different type of love, Dave. It's a different type of love. It's a different type of love.
It's a beloved love. It's like a father and a son or a mother and a child. It's a close love.
They could use that, bro. They could use that. Use that, bro. He could easily turn on him and say, "Yo, I need to make you tougher, son. You're not ready. I need to make you tougher."
I could hear
something. They could use that, bro. They could use that.
Yeah, I hate the fact that you're selling me on this shit, yo. Yeah. This is sick.
That could help this dude, though. That could help him. That could actually help him.
I'll give you this.
When it comes to Cena, there was no reason in hell to bring him in that direction.
Why was there no reason? I don't need to get off topic. Why no reason?
What was for? For who? For who? You know what I mean? Like, if he does that, who takes it? Nah.
Yo, I'll say this. I'll say this to stay on topic. If they were to do any sort of betrayal between them, it would be smarter for Ray to be bad than Dominic to be bad, because Dominic does not have the capabilities. He doesn't.
No.
He sounds like a little kid. He's ugly, with a respectful ugly. Maybe he needs a mask and he needs a tweak. So, but I think ultimately they're gonna win this match. Personally, I think, and they're gonna pin the Miz, and Logan Paul's gonna get embarrassed, and that's that. That's what I think.
I don't think so, man. I think you let Logan get some steam because he can be back. You know what I mean? He can come back and work wonders for. I really think so. A+.
I agree with that. I think he will be back, and I think he fits in perfectly. He really does. All right, Seth Rollins is set to face an opponent of Mr. McMahon's choosing. They've been really putting a lot of emphasis in building up this secret opponent for Seth. There's rumors that it's going to be Shane McMahon, but there's a whole lot more of rumors of it's going to be Cody Rhodes. And you even hear the audience on Raw, even the general regular live audience, chanting Cody's name before he's even popped up. So I think it's going to be Cody. I think it's damn near guaranteed to be Cody, but who knows? It might be someone else. But let's say it's Cody versus Seth Rollins. I think we all agree Cody, if it is Cody, they have to start hot and strong, and he has to win that match.
True. Sure.
He just has to.
He has to win the match. He has to start out strong with a statement. You can see, man, he could be your opponent for that double championship somewhere down the road. So he start him off with some type of statement.
Absolutely.
Some type of gas. But if it's Shane McMahon, you know what I mean? You just let stuff do have fun and get to pick up the day.
I agree. I honestly don't think it's going to be Shane McMahon. I honestly think WWE's camp probably leaked that because they want Cody's thing to feel like more of a special surprise. I really do think it was a Jedi mind trick. It's damn near. If there's a lot of credible sources that said he signed for about $3 to $5 million a year.
That's a lot of money, huh?
It is a lot of money. That's main event of money, man. Money? If he signed for that, he's coming to WrestleMania. So
you think he's worth that money?
I think in this current era, he is worth that money. I think in this current crop, he stands out just enough to be able to say, I could hang with the top guys.
Why? Why do you think he's worth that money?
I just think.
What has he done?
Well, let's be fair to the guy. I just think you gotta respect the guy who's no longer in the big leagues of WWE, but went out there to kind of raise his trade value in a sense, and raise his value, and he's kind of the reason AEW started. Like you gotta respect that. That you gotta respect the hustle.
What does that got to do with?
He's a bigger brand. He made himself into a bigger brand name off his own hustle. We can't say he doesn't do that on some level.
Yeah, but
he did do that on some level.
But what does that got to do with you getting the type of money that we would give a Reigns?
That ain't Reigns. That's more like a AJ Styles. Maybe money.
Well, to get that type of money, to get AJ's type of money. AJ's done a lot.
I don't think it's about what he's done. I think it's about what they feel like. You gotta understand, man. he was able to raise his value outside of the company. So WWE's like, all right, he did that. He did that to some extent without us. We know, we believe in ourselves what we could take him to when he is in our possession. When he's in our possession with our presentation and our booking, we could take this B to an A. I believe the WWE machine is capable of doing that. I really do.
Yeah, but you got to do that.
I believe he can.
He has to deliver on that, and that's why I'm, and that's basically what I'm saying too.
Bless you.
You got to be able to have us to be throwing that 5 million. You see what I'm saying? That's the only way I'm trying to look at it. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm happy. I'm just looking at someone like a.
Absolutely. He has to live up to the hype. He has to be a 180 from what he was. Absolutely.
Right.
Real 180. Show us something new. But let's get this out of the way. I'm pretty sure this is going to be quick. We don't have to spend too much time on it because it's not too much to say. But my man, Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. Who's going to win?
Oh, come on. I mean, didn't even be on the card. I think that's the real. Yeah, should this even be on the card? This is the only thing that shouldn't even be on the card. Should have been on the pre.
This should be a pre-show, man. You never know. They might put it on the pre-show last second. Who knows? They do that sometimes.
Because it doesn't need to be on the actual.
The pre-show. I haven't heard that word in so long. The pre-show, yo.
Do it right, like the 30.
They do that. JBL, Lawler, they be on the panel. Booker T.
I think this should be one of those things that's going on in the background while they're talking, giving their you know, it should be one of those things that happen. Because we all know Drew's gonna just, you know,
Drew's gonna win. Yeah, he's gonna win. He's gonna tear apart him and his lackey and call it a day. Yeah, but you know, Baron Corbin's a real throwback bad guy. He's a real pure bad guy. He's gonna do his job well. He's gonna get that crowd to boo him. You know, 100,000 plus fans booing the hell out of him, and he's gonna take a good ass beating. And he's really good at that. So that it is what it is. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Shinsuke Nakamura and his personal guitarist Rick Boogs versus the Usos for the tag team titles. Who's going to win this?
The Usos. That's not even a real team.
I agree.
That's not even a real team.
I think the Usos.
It's not even a real team. And not only that, their gimmicks are stupid. What are they supposed? What are they? Gimmicks?
They're rock stars.
They're part of a rock band.
Nah, they're not part of a rock band. Shinsuke's the ultimate rock star, and he has a guitarist.
Is that what he's supposed to be? And stuff.
He's a drunken master rock star.
I understand what this guy's trying to accomplish, bro. Good wrestling.
I definitely think the Usos, but we can't deny when Shinsuke's music plays, man, the crowd loves it. They love that song. They really love that song. They're into the entrance.
Honestly,
they're into that entrance.
Like, what is
style?
What is that though? Like,
Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. I think this is a toss-up. You say there's almost zero chance of Charlotte winning. I'm going to say Ronda Rousey, though. I'll say Ronda Rousey does win this, but I think it's a toss-up.
I don't think it's a toss-up. I think Rousey gets it. Like I said, I
really look at it. The reason why that's a very good point is because think about it. Every great does win championships in wrestling, and you're a main eventer, and you have main event performances and main event marquee matches at pay-per-views. But every great is great because when they're not a champion, they know how to still have great storylines. They know how to still bring different gears. They know how to have great grudge matches. They know how to have great gimmick matches. They know how to show different sides of their personality. They know how to be vulnerable. They know how to be relatable. And the problem with Charlotte Flair, she's almost been a victim of her own greatness. She's been great for too long and too quick that we've never seen her get vulnerable. We've never seen her character have to face challenges and obstacles. And I actually think the feud with Ronda Rousey's been good because she finally has someone that's a bigger star than her that could kind of give her an obstacle. So I think the build-up's been all right, but my gut tells me Ronda's going to win. And then it'll be interesting because there's a whole lot of fresh challengers you could try to experiment with Ronda. You could experiment a returning Bayley. You could use maybe a Rhea Ripley, even though she's on Raw. But you could experiment with some stuff. Maybe Sasha Banks. So maybe a Naomi. So I say Ronda.
Yeah, I agree. Only because Charlotte needs to be delayed. She has to be slowed down.
Yeah.
It's just now at this point it's a little too much. Not saying that she's not living up to any of it, because she definitely is. And I definitely think she's still the number one woman on that whole entire roster. That's undisputed for me. You know what I mean? If we're talking overall, I think
set in stone.
Yeah, I think she set that already. So we don't need to see her get any more.
Knoxville from Jackass versus Sami Zayn in an Extreme Rules match. Who you got?
Johnny Knoxville.
Wow. You can't be serious.
It's not for the title, right?
It's not for a title. He screwed him out of the title against Ricochet.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. Sami Zayn could easily let him get stuff off and still be a great heel.
That's a good point. Because I'll tell you this. You know what Sami Zayn has the gift of? This is a very valuable gift in wrestling. And this is where the entertainment aspect is so important. Sami Zayn makes people want to see him get his ass kicked. And even when he gets his ass kicked, he can come back and run his mouth or do something shady, and he gets you to forget about him getting his ass kicked. Because he's so good at running his mouth and being a weasel. So you're right. He could take this and make people forget and run with it. Like losing almost makes his character more interesting. So I could see him losing, but I think Johnny Knoxville comes from Jackass. Jackass is all about taking crazy stunts, falling on your face, jumping off bikes. I think they're gonna make some crazy stunt happen here. And I think it's going to be one big spot. Sami Zayn's going to slip in, get him in a big spot. It's some type of big stunt. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe he falls into like 10 million stacks of tables and thumbtacks. I could see them using thumbtacks, bro. These Jackass guys are crazy. They've done some crazy stuff. Jackass used to be big. People can't forget. So. But I think Sami Zayn's gonna win by putting Knoxville through some type of crazy stunt, and he'll slip away.
Nah, I think he just lets him let him get the crowd pumped up. Let him get
For
his stuff.
what? We're not gonna see him again.
Yeah, well, actually, no, we might see him again. We might see him again.
Not for anything this big. Not for anything this important.
But that's the thing though. Sami Zayn, he can easily do this as a favor, and they can throw him right back in that mid-card title picture. This is nothing, you know what I mean? They just let the celebrity just look good. You know what I mean? Because we're already gonna make Logan Paul look good. You should look good too.
Every celebrity has to look the same.
Yeah, make them comfortable. You want them to come back. That's the number one thing you want. You want them to come back and help get eyes.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I like that. That makes sense. This match was just made on Raw. I think it's going to be one of a sleeper on the undercard. I don't think it's going to be pretty or flashy, but I think the entertainment and the strength that we're going to see, Bobby Lashley versus Omas, the 7'3", 400-pound Omas facing a 270-pounder Bobby Lashley. And we saw on Raw, Bobby Lashley was the first one to knock him off his feet. He got up mad quick, but he knocked him off his feet. Yeah. So do you think this is it? Do you think if you're going to end this streak, it's better off to end the streak with a proven commodity like Lashley? Or do you think it's too early for Omas to take a real L and look a little vulnerable?
Nah, I think Omas gets this.
I think Omas gets this too. Bobby Lashley's my favorite wrestler, but I think Omas gets this.
Nah, because the only reason why I'm saying that is because this is Omas's first actual
big time challenge.
Yeah. This is a real competitor standing across from him now.
Yeah.
This is his first real one. So you gotta just let him. You gotta let him get the victory.
You gotta throw him a bone. He's a giant.
Just because it's the first one, you know what I mean.
And just because he's a giant.
That too.
Giants need to be fed, like literally.
That too,
and protected.
And I think Lashley's the perfect dude to let him get it, and let him, let him look real strong in this one, just so that whoever he goes up next, now he has more legitimacy to him. I just beat Lashley.
Yeah, that's a big come up.
It's a big deal.
Nobody was expecting that to happen 2-3 months ago, so it is a big deal. It is a big deal, and I think even behind the scenes, I just think a young performer who's still growing like him can learn a lot from working with a vet like Lashley in there to learn things more with the psychology and how to actually work a match and how to actually take bumps. When he fell on Raw, it didn't look like a bad bump for his first bump and for a big guy. So I could see this is gonna be good, yo. I don't think it's gonna be a long match, but I think it's gonna be impactful. But I do got Omas winning, and honestly, don't be shocked if by the end of the year or by 2023 next year, if he's at least in some type of world title match, he's gonna keep building big wins after Lashley, and eventually you're gonna have to put him at the end of the title match.
Yeah, and that's why, that's where he should go.
Yeah,
if the build is right, if the build is right, if you can get him some other guys just around Lashley's level, giving them some rub, letting them actually look dominant, then you should be able to get like a good Khali type of run out of you, or maybe even better if you can be better.
I already see a ton more potential. He's way more mobile for that size than Khali.
Right. But that's what I mean though. They gave one to Strowman, they gave one to Khali. You have to give it to this guy if his build is better.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think he gets knocked off his feet, like slammed? I could see maybe him getting speared and getting standing back up, but I don't know if they're gonna let him get slammed yet. I tell you what, if he gets slammed, I think that means he's losing that match. If he gets slammed, that's how I feel. To give us a WrestleMania moment. You know how they like those moments where they could play back on the replay.
Well, that's the thing. If he loses the match, you might as well just not take him serious no more.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
What do you mean?
It's never a shame to lose to Lashley.
Yeah,
I don't care how big you are.
But like I said, this is the first one though. This is the first one. You gotta let him win the first one.
I agree, but I don't think that makes him. I don't think that makes him a bum because he loses to Lashley.
If you don't win your first one, there's no point in you no more.
Wow.
Are you a monster?
Yeah. He lost it would be like the thing getting beat by the Hulk. I still met a Hulk, bro.
You're not even a monster.
Hulk is better than me.
Nah, come on, you're not a monster. No.
Is that not a fair comparison? You know comic books, man. It's like the thing from Fantastic Four fighting the Hulk. The irresistible force versus the immovable object. Lashley can hold his own.
This is different, though. This is different. You don't lose. You can't lose your first big one.
I agree.
You think you're still gonna be something after that?
There's always a way to bounce back.
Nah, bro. Not for Giants.
Wow. Come on. You're exaggerating.
No,
you're exaggerating.
Go to all the serious Giants.
If he loses to Lashley.
Go to all the serious Giants.
What if he beats Lashley 2-3 next times and then beats a crop of other people? He already beat AJ. Come on, man.
Nah, come on. That's different.
Stop trying to cut down a young man, bro. This is a young man's game.
That's different. AJ's like what? 5'6"?
5'6". Yo, AK's like 5'8", bro. Kill.
Like 5'6". Come on, bro.
He's like 5'8", bro.
That's completely different, bro.
5'6".
Lashley is the first opponent who looks like he can do damage to him.
I agree.
You have to let you in order to feed the monster and make him a real monster. You gotta let him beat a couple guys like that.
No, I agree. I think
that's
the logical thing to do.
If he loses that, put a knife in it.
Wow.
Put a knife in it. Forget about it.
All right, fair.
Let's throw it somewhere else.
Let's just go with this. The women's tag division, Zelina Vega and Carmella defending their titles against Natalya and Shayna Baszler, Naomi and Sasha Banks, and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Who you got, man? The women's tag team division has a lot of thrown together teams, but I got Sasha Banks and Naomi just because they're probably the two most talented individually. So I'm going to go with them, and they're the most relevant.
I don't think so.
Individually, out of those people in that match?
No, I'm saying I think the Queen and Carmella, I think they keep it.
You think they keep it?
I think they keep it.
Wow.
I don't think Sasha's going to stay on the roster long enough to hold belts.
You could be right. That's fair. But
she shouldn't be in the tag team division anyway.
I agree.
So I don't see them winning that. No. I don't think they win this. I think they just did it because it's WrestleMania and they needed something.
They needed to get those women on the card as a reward.
Yeah, that's all.
That's really why they do. They be bunking up those 3-man tag matches to get as much people on the card. But
people on the card.
Shout out to them, man. I'm not hating. There's some talented women in there. I like Shayna Baszler. I like Liv Morgan. I like Rhea Ripley. Know, but they just threw them on the card as a reward to not leave them out. But All right, you got the Carmella and Zelina. I didn't expect that, but I got Sasha and Naomi. But AJ Styles. I think this is a toss up. This could really go either way. But I'm gonna go AJ Styles.
No.
I think Edge has been looking way too dominant and ruthless over him and just brutalizing him that AJ needs to get something out of this, man. So like my man didn't get no type of he got his head smashed in with the concerto. He got hit with a chair during his fight with Seth Rollins. He's getting attacked everywhere. And AJ, he needs to benefit from this. So I'm going to say AJ wins this.
Oh, man. I got to go with Edge.
Edge?
I got to go with Edge.
Wow.
He's a heel now. He's a heel now. He's back in his comfort zone. This is exactly what he should have been a long time ago. And honestly, I think he would have had a belt already if they made him this a long time ago. But I understand it too because they already had two dominant heels.
Exactly.
With titles, and now that there's only gonna be one title, I definitely think I'm going with Edge because I think Edge is gonna have to be a candidate some way down the road.
He beats AJ straight up.
Why not?
I'm not saying it's not believable.
He doesn't have to. Neither. He doesn't have to.
He doesn't.
He doesn't have to.
He could believably beat him straight up.
I can see him winning in a dirty way. I can see it. I can definitely see it. But I
really like how he's reinventing himself again, though. This is different than the Rated R Superstar. He changed his song. He has like a darker purple entrance. It's kind of like a blend of the Rated R Superstar and the Brood in a way. Like it's darker, but
he's back in his comfort zone.
Yeah, but it's a toss up. But I'm gonna say AJ. AJ, bro, are we trying to bury AJ? He's on this Edge level. Can he get some upper hand in here? Like AJ has to win this, bro.
What do you mean we're trying to bury him?
He hasn't got no type of licks in this build-up. You're going to have him lose. What is he going to get out of this? Like, at the end of the day, he's still the fresher superstar.
But if he doesn't lose clean, it doesn't really hurt him.
It doesn't hurt him, but I think a win could really help him.
I mean,
AJ's due back in this championship picture too.
It's AJ though. It's AJ can always do that.
He might be due sooner rather than later. We need these good guys to start getting some. So we need the good guy side of things to start getting back up because this guy hasn't faced Roman yet. And I'm not saying he's going to win, but that's a credible challenger that Roman or Brock Lesnar have never faced yet recently. So it's like AJ needs to be kept, I think, a little respectable, like in that, still in that, ready to fight for the championship at any time.
Well, here's another thing too, though. I don't really see this being done right away neither. I don't see this feud being done right away neither. That's another reason why I would let Edge win.
I think there might be a rematch. Yeah.
That's another reason why I think I would let Edge just walk away with it, hook up by crook. Just do something if you have to. You know what I mean? Do something controversial. Because I think there's one more extreme fight out of it because of the fact that they've been using chairs and everything.
Yeah, I could see a stipulation.
I see a stipulation thing happening now. So if you make
ideally like a TLC or ladder match,
right? So if you make AJ win, what's the point of that? What's the point of that now?
We'll see about that. I won't be mad at it, Edge win. I'll say that. I like where he's going with this character. It is different, but you can argue AJ could use that momentum boost to for relevancy and to be in the main picture more. But I ain't gonna be mad at Edge. Did we talked about the Austin KO show? Right?
The Austin KO. I think that was the next one.
We talked about that, right? Am I bugging?
No, I don't think so.
Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back in Texas. He's coming to WrestleMania to open up one last can of whoop ass to Kevin Owens. Sammy, they're calling it the Kevin Owens show in one breath, and then the next breath they're saying they're gonna fight, and then the next breath Stone Cold's going back reminiscing, saying The Rock was my last match, I haven't been in the ring, and then you hear him on podcasts on Rick Eisen saying he's trained and he would have trained harder if he knew before. It sounds like this is going to be a fight. I'm not saying it's going to be a long-ass fight, but it sounds like he's going to do some legwork here. He's not just going to come and drink a beer. So how do you really see this going? And obviously we know this is closing night one. They're going to send the fans home happy. We know Austin's going to stand tall, but how do you see it really operate? And like, this is crazy. Like, he's going to get physical more than he ever has in about 2 decades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really don't see it going any differently than I've seen anything else Austin's done the last 19 years of his life. Listen, he said it himself, though. Like, if I knew about it, I would have actually trained. You know what I mean? They gave him too short notice. His body, I'm pretty sure, isn't in any type of ring shape. And let's be serious. The dude drinks beer all the time.
Broken Skull IPA.
So it's like, come on. I see maybe the only difference I see in this thing is that we're probably going to see him use a whole lot of toys that we haven't seen him use in years, which is enough. It's enough. That's enough to get the crowd going. That's enough to get the crowd amped. That's enough to, feed us a little more time. Because I think they're going to try to push it to closer to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
if they spend enough time on the outside brawling, they'll stretch it.
Throw some right hands, swing some stuff at each other. Let him get his death press, his stomps corner, stunner, put some bear on him.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Come out and have a beer with the Undertaker, who went into the Hall of Fame. I could see that happening, honestly.
Would definitely. It's not gonna be much different. I see some chair shots.
To be fair, in the past 19 years, nobody's hit him. I think he's gonna get hit here.
Right hand.
Nah, right hand. He's gonna get hit, bro. He's going to get clotheslined, punked. He might get thrown into the steel steps with his shoulder. Wow. No. You know that's the safest bump ever? You run into the steps with your arm. Like, come on, bro.
Come on, bro. His arms hasn't felt that in 19 years?
It's nothing.
Sure. Those steps hurt.
Yeah, but you're controlling how hard you hit it for the most part.
It's still steps though.
He's gonna get clotheslined. He might get stunned himself.
I can see he's not getting stunned.
He's not getting
He's not getting stunned.
Yo, he might get stunned, bro. This match should, but forget it being the Kevin Owens show. It should be a stun off. The first one to hit the stunner wins the match.
Right. They should have just called
that.
That
kind of makes it simple. Honestly,
they could have just called it that.
The first one who weakens their opponent and stuns them wins. That's creative to me.
It's
that way you don't expect nothing from him.
I can see a clothesline. I
think he'll get clothesline.
I can see a clothesline. I can see a bunch
That's
of right.
That's a safe bump.
Bunch of right hands, you know what I mean?
A super kick. Nah. Kevin Owens likes super kicking.
He might throw him to the corner, you know, get him get his back on there, make him look a little weak. But that's all he's doing. Nothing else is happening, bro. Austin's gonna do more 90% of the offense. I guarantee it.
Yeah, most likely. But I think the fun part's gonna see Austin get attacked. I really do. I think that's gonna be a fun part about it.
He'll get attacked. Yeah, he'll get attacked.
But I honestly think vest, Daisy Dukes, wrestling boots. He's gonna. I don't think he's gonna wear the underwear, but he's gonna be in the Daisy Dukes, yo. The short shorts, jean shorts. I think that's what I think he's gonna wear, and it's gonna be a all-out brawl.
Like I told you during the phone call. If I see the vest, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. Even if everything he does look sloppy, I don't even care. If I can see him come down with a vest, some wristband stuff, the braces, the signature boots, that's enough for me, man. That's enough.
That's enough.
Anything else? I don't know. I'm not even gonna ask that much because 20 years is 20 years, dude.
I'm doing this at all. Honestly, I'm shocked.
Right.
This is all enough for me. They could call it the Kevin Owens show. They could fool me, man. I'll let them fool me. I know they're pulling the wool over everyone's eyes, but I don't care. Austin's here.
Yeah.
They're kind of finagle their way and not call it a match because they don't want people to expect a lot from him. He doesn't want no one to expect a lot from him. That's why, bro.
Right. You shouldn't though.
What do you rather them do, Sammy? A cinematic match? Your favorite matches?
No.
Yeah. He said that's cheating, yo.
Don't come at all if you're gonna do something like that.
A cinematic. That's the old dude treatment, yo.
Nah, not at all.
In the pandemic.
I already said what the old dude treatment is. Just do what Goldberg does. You know what I mean? But in a lesser version, just let some right hands go.
In all seriousness, this is what I feel like we this is what I think we really should be asking. I know we don't expect much from Austin, but this is wrestling. We've been watching this for just over 15 years. Mm-hmm. We've seen wrestlers come into the business and not plan on coming back, but we've seen them do a segment and then they got the itch to maybe try one more. Do you see any percentage of a possibility of that, at least that happening, where the segment goes right, he looks okay with the small stuff he does, and then he's like, you know what? Maybe I can do a real build up to a Cena for 5-10 minutes with the right kick. Do you think that he could possibly get that scratch? I'm not ruling that out. That happens to wrestlers. It's a real thing.
I think if he looks fluid and good, I can see him doing one more.
And if his body's not too sore after, he's gonna be like, "Yo, I could do this. I could do the Goldberg thing. I could keep it brief." Like,
I can see him taking that type of direction. If he actually looks
that'd
fluid,
be big. That'd be big.
If he actually looks fluid, the moves actually look not too off. If the bump to the mat doesn't feel, a little too stinging, I can see him going for one more, maybe like a Saudi Arabia thing. I can see it.
Real talk, for that money. They get mad money for that one night, yo.
either that or SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Because if they do SummerSlam, at
It'd
least
be one of them.
At least you'll have time to actually get
or the next WrestleMania in LA.
That's that.
Because they're gonna have to make that LA market as big as possible.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the biggest match is possible. Because if he is to get the itch, you don't got a lot of matches left in him, so you got to use it wisely. The biggest ones possible is Cena, or if Cena really gets that Hollywood busy, Brock Lesnar.
No, he's not doing Lesnar.
Come on, Sammy, man. That is the biggest match. Tell me that is not the biggest match. The match he walked out on. There's history there.
Now you're trying to hurt him.
Yo, this dude has a problem, bro. We're not trying. Lesnar's a physical worker, but Lesnar's a safe worker.
Yo, Lesnar.
Everybody said he hurts, but he doesn't injure people. He doesn't injure people.
What happened to Lashy?
Yo, this dude's sick, yo. That's not what he did it by accident.
What happened to Lashy? All that banging around and all those German suplexes, bro.
You're giving them the credit, huh?
That's what happened.
That's not what happened.
That's literally what happened, bro. You know what I mean? Like all those German suplexes. All
right, if he doesn't have face Brock, then Cena, and obviously, Roman's an obvious one. But I honestly would call me crazy if you ask me to pick between. Even though Roman is the hottest thing right now, if you ask me to pick between Stone Cold and Roman and a Stone Cold and Randy Orton, I'll pick the Stone Cold and Randy Orton.
It would have.
I think it would be a better story.
It would have to be those type of guys, man, because those type of guys, their moves are super safe.
Yeah, mad safe.
They're not. And
they're great. They're polished workers. You know they're not going to hurt nobody.
Polished technicians. And not only that, they don't mind. Being on their back most of the match.
Yeah, real talk.
They don't mind that. They definitely don't mind that. Brock Lesnar has to get his offense in.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't say Stone Cold had to win the match. If he faced him, he probably would lose.
It's not about win or loss. I'm talking about the fighting style.
He would have to, yeah.
Brock is too offensive, bro.
Brock doesn't injure people.
He's too aggressive, though. He's too aggressive. Austin's body can't take 3 German suplexes.
Yo, this dude thinks this dude's 80, bro.
He can't take 3 German suplexes.
He can take one.
Brock's not giving you one.
Brock can give one.
He's not giving you one. That
could be the story of the match, bro. Stone Cold reverses all of them.
If he only gives you one, you're taking his whole gimmick away.
Nah, that's not his whole gimmick, bro. You're selling Brock short, bro.
Suplex City.
He has other suplexes in his arsenal.
Yeah, but Austin can't take them.
Yeah, he could take a vertical suplex.
No, he cannot. Not from Lesnar.
Yo, this dude's forcing it, bro.
Not from Lesnar.
Say what you want. I know that match will be on the table if Austin comes back.
I don't think it
would be on the table. He even said if he came back, Brock would be a opponent. He would think about it. A real run. Come on,
man. He's from.
I think he knows what his body could take, Sammy. I think he knows.
You don't want nothing. You don't want nothing to do with Brock Lesnar, man. Do not put that dude in the ring with Brock Lesnar.
This dude's scary, bro.
Will not come out the same way.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Because he hurt Mark Calloway. Damn.
And these guys were in better shape than Stone.
Nah, not at that time.
Yes, they are. Even Undertaker at that point is in better ring shape than Austin now.
Not better ring shape than what Austin could work up to in a year or so. Come on, man.
I don't know about that.
You'd have to do the Cena one, though. That shit. I think Cena could put every movie on hold for that one. That you would have to do that one.
Cena makes sense. If Cena has time, that makes sense.
That's insane.
Randy makes sense. You know,
RKO versus Stone Cold Stunner. It makes perfect sense.
Roman makes sense. Even an AJ would make sense. So
yeah.
Edge would make sense.
Yeah. You got a couple options, honestly.
But Brock, no way.
Damn, that hurts my feelings. I'd like to see it.
I don't want to see the guy get hit.
I don't care what fucking happens. You know what happens when you sign up for this business. You put your trust in your opponent's hands. With all due respect, I think Austin knows what he's getting into. I think he's know what he's gonna get into on the Kevin Owens show too.
It's not about that, man. It's not about that. We gotta make sure if he's actually signing something, we gotta make sure we preserve him as much as we possibly can. If he's actually gonna put his pen on something,
I feel you.
You know what I mean? Like, if you put him in there with Lesnar, you're messing up your whole chances.
I can see your perspective. You want to be cautious. I see your perspective. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, main event, title versus title, the greatest, biggest match at the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. Who you got, man? This is obviously a toss-up. I said that a couple times, but this is a toss-up because these dudes are hotter than ever. They've reinvented themselves tremendously. This match has a whole new, weight and clout to it. Like this match is crazy. Like this is going to determine a new era. So I'm leaning towards Roman because he's held the title for a while. He's been dominant, but it doesn't feel stale to me. So I don't see a reason to take it off of him yet. So I'm going to go with Roman. And I wouldn't be shocked if Brock won, but I'm going to go with Roman.
No, man. My answer still stands. I think it's just like what I said with Charlotte earlier. It's like now you're at that point where you got to do something. You have to do something water on this fire, bro, because he's burning the whole house down at this point, bro. There's no one to toss at him. There's no other way you can make this more dominant. I mean, like we get it at this point. You're the face of the company. You're the man. Your spot is unmovable unless you want to move it. So you got to move. He beats Brock again. Where else do you go? Like, where else do you go? Where else do you go? Who else does he beat? Who else does he toss around?
I see
how much longer are you going to prolong this? Where's the end?
I see where you're coming from, where you're essentially saying, if Brock doesn't do it, who's gonna do it? I see why you would think that. At the same time, I gotta give pushback for that point of he's like Charlotte. I think it's a lot different than Charlotte because Roman was originally, obviously he did great things and accomplished great things, and he did some things right. But Roman was rejected, by people. Ever since he won that Royal Rumble with Daniel Bryan, and then people felt like he was forced down their throats. He was rejected, and he went through some ups and downs. Now he's having an all-time great run, and it still hasn't really lost steam yet. I don't think it's a position where he's overly dominant for years at a time in an excessive way. I think he earned it, and why take it off just for the sake of taking the Band-Aid off when one, you could give it to a guy that needs it, and two, I mean, if you look at both these guys, if you argue if Brock Lesnar wins the title, I'll kind of feel the same way. To be completely honest with you, you can feel that way. It applies to both of them. They both technically don't need the world title as much as they do, and for as long of periods as they do, but they constantly in it. But the fact of the matter is, I'm thinking about who makes more interesting television coming out of WrestleMania, and I still think that's Roman Reigns. I still think the most interesting television has to be centered around Roman Reigns being the full-time guy.
I disagree. I think that's a toss.
This company needs a full-time champion right now, and it's been working. You need it right now. Right now, they have some good things going on for them. We need that. We need that top prize at least being spotlighted.
Roman, we have good things going on for him.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it. Which is exact, and it hasn't declined, so we still need it to center around the show. We really need it.
There's no such thing as a decline for Roman right now. There's no such thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Regardless whether he has
every great champion hits that point in their reign where it declines and it's time to drop it. It hasn't hit that point yet. It hasn't declined.
You're not gonna hit that point with Roman.
Everybody's hit it at some point in their reign.
No, but this is what I'm trying to explain. There's no other better option. You're not gonna hit that point with Roman.
Yo, the better
time wise, who else is a better option right now?